Hello everyone, it's Kay here again, and today I am sharing with you more products from Inlovearts and a little project that I've made which I'm calling a little inspirational folder, and it's one of these interactive, I'll explain a bit more when I show you, and it is about inspiration on a day-to-day or month-to-month pattern, depending on what people would like to do with it really. But these are the products that I've used this time. I have used the stamp again, and I'm really glad I did, because it does respond well to stronger colour inks rather than the very gentle pastel colours. So that said, you'll see what I mean in a moment. I also use these two decorative elements. You've seen this one before, but not this one, and these come in a pack of 2. I'm delighted to say again that they cut well, they release well, and they are very, very easy to use. I have layered them up, and it does make them, for instance, this then can be a frame rather than just a swirl with a little something in the centre, or just cut about to make decorative pieces. This becomes really very, very lovely when it's layered up, and just lends itself to being more of a feature than an embellishment, if we put it that way. And then the envelope maker that I talked about before, this is very, very intricate. You do need a pokey tool to clear all the little bits of card that evolve from cutting through, because the holes, as you'll see on the back, are really quite tiny. But it is a lovely, lovely envelope. Not as big as I'd hoped it would be, but it is an envelope. You've got this area which is raised in a stitched way, and this forms the lines for folding. Clearly you want to use something that will fold nicely. I think if you used anything too thick, you would end up with this perforating and not holding what you need in it. But it worked wonderfully well with the vellum, and it worked very well with the lightweight cardstock that I chose to use for this project. I'm just looking for the pack of vellum. There it is, because I must bring this out again. The other thing I've used, and it's only one piece at the moment, is the vellum pack that I shared in a previous video, and it really is very, very nice to work with. It responds very well to Yoo-hoo glue, the liquid glue. As I mentioned before, there has been some issues around making it stick, but I don't believe it's peculiar to this product. I think it would be vellum in general, nothing to do with what Inlovearts have sent through for my little pack of goodies, and the designs on them are really very, very lovely indeed. So I'll move these out of the way and bring in what I've made. It's been a couple of days. It's not a quick project, but it is, I think, a nice project to do. It is, as I've said, on the lines of a little folder book, and I wanted it to be inspirational. This is the layered embellishment that I spoke about, that I've layered up and used 3 layers of, and you can see it really is very, very defined there. I think all the blingy bits are taking away the focus on it somewhat. And this is the frame, as I called it, but clearly you could cut it about, you could have it hanging off the page. I've chosen to keep it in its natural state, and again it's 3 layers of black cardstock, and within that then I've placed this lovely little glittered flower and the greenery. This is not from the previous dies. I could have done that, but excuse my phone please. This kind of just came in a pack, and I've gone ahead and used it. The offcuts from the circle I've just used here and there to decorate the corners of the little booklet. It's all held tight with a little bit of the thin elastic, so it holds together really nicely. The back is very, very plain, as you'd expect for a project like this, because that will be what is on the ground, on the surface. I've used this lovely little metal embellishment here, which was a bracelet I stripped down many years ago, and I just think it adds a nice little touch to the overall gold and green and brown. This is the vellum paper. I've only anchored it down under the seam here, put a little bit up in the corner, but because the use of the ink would bleed through and it would be seen, it seems easier to leave this unanchored and just anchored below the pattern DSB than to have ink showing through, because that isn't really a very good look. So we'll open this up. On the front, the wordage is "Live This Life," and it opens up this way and this way, so it's a threefold. I've used here are the little envelopes. This is the size that they come down to if I bring them up, which is, if I measure it for you, 3 3/4 by 2.5, so it's a nice size. You could put little notelets inside, you could just put little invitations inside if that's what you wanted to do. It would make lovely little wedding place settings, or just an ordinary party setting if you had a table plan that you wanted to put people's names in, and clearly that would be something then that they could take away from the event. There is this lovely little pocket here that actually goes all the way through, so you would be able to keep bits and pieces in it if you so desired, from special events or paper clippings or anything at all really. It is a good size, and this would be your centre pocket from where the ruler is to where my finger is showing, and that alone is 5.5 by 5 3/4 almost, so you would be able to keep significant things in this end, and allowing for folds and so on, you'd get a similar amount here. If you didn't want it showing in the V, it wouldn't be necessary. Now I've decorated it very simplistically, because the idea is that it would be for keepsakes, not for a whole load of embellishments and things like that. Just perhaps things that have inspired you in a day, or perhaps a little thought that comes into your mind that you just want to keep safe. There's a little tag pocket here. You could clearly scribble on the back if you wanted to, and there again I'm just showing you the versatility of this lovely die, and I've just used a metallic wash on the die. Well, it's not a wash, it's a paint, and it's the PBO acrylic paint, and it's a pearl and in a bronze colour, but it is really lovely. And I've used it around the edge of the tag. The bit behind is from the stamp, the background, and that I stamped in a distress ink, but I also used a different colour ink which I'll show you in a moment, and then I just put some ribbon around the top, a little bit of baker's twine here to finish off, and again, life is a grand adventure. The underneath is plain, the pocket is plain because of the decorative tag. You don't really need anything taking away from that, I then made these little inspirational tickets. Again, I've stamped the stamp on the background in a different colour, married it up with a little bit of bling, and just put little inspirational live, love and laugh, discover, and that's another discover there, and an admit one, but on the back again it's a plain polka dot. You can do a little bit of scribbling on the back if you like. These are all inked around the edge in a contrast, and just bring the words forward from on the stamp, and they're held together on one of the little light bulb pins. And as I say, I've put the little bit of bling on the bottom just for a bit of decoration, and they sit very nicely in the little vellum envelope, so you can actually see the design through the paper, but it's not ultimately clear, it is opaque. And then in the top one here in another colour ink, and you'll see how well the stamp responds to the different colours. Dream, explore, explore and journey. And again, it's just little tickets that you can put keywords onto the back, or just use as a little prompt for occasions. It's just one of those little things that sometimes comes in handy when you just want to put a little something that's been bothering you on paper, or recall something from a day that's given you pleasure. It's that kind of feel, and these envelopes again lend themselves beautifully to that kind of little project. So, you know, it is about inspiration. It is about finding ways to cope with everyday life, and often recalling good things that can be used in the not so good times. You know, it's that was my thought process when I was making all of this up. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing the whole project. I think it works quite nicely, and when it's all closed together is really neat and tidy, and it doesn't have to be something that, you know, needs to leave your side. It can just be kept at home in a drawer perhaps, where you can lift it out when you've got something particular that you'd like to record from an event or a special thought that you've had in the day. So once again, thank you very much for sharing this time with me. It's always hugely appreciated. I will leave the link to the Inlovearts below the video and the products that I've used, and there is, I believe, for the duration, a 10% discount that you can use within the store on any products that you would be interested in. So thank you very much for sharing this time with me. Take care everyone. Bye bye for now.